All right, so the last 3 lectures I've been teaching you how to take a name and write a formula for it. Okay, very useful. But here's the deal. Tomorrow when we do lab, you're going to be playing around with these little bottles with eyedroppers inside, and the bottles just have a formula. And I haven't taught you how to go from formula to name. And that's what today's all about. Believe it or not, on a scale of 1 to 10, from 1 is very easy to 10 is super duper hard, I would say this is a 4. It's not too hard. It follows certain rules that I need you to pay attention to. So you really, really, really need to focus for about 10 minutes. I can get through this in 10 minutes. Focus for 10 minutes. All right, so how do you write these things? First symbol you encounter, of course, is going to be the cation. That's the guy. The guy's name is never changed. So you just write it down. You just write it down. Now, remember, there are 2 guys. There are the guys that you can always count on. People like Caden over there. Caden never changes. He is steady. Okay? He is going to be the same all the time. He is always +1. +1. How about today? +1. Tomorrow? +1. Next week? +1. Okay? Then there is Louise over there. Louise is totally unstable. He is what I call a wishy-washy metal. A cation. Okay? Louise comes in, I go, what are you today? +2. Tomorrow? +3. Okay, so he is very unstable. I don't know. I look at Caden, +1. Done. I look at Louise, I'm going, I don't know. I don't know what he is. I have no idea what he is. So I have to ask him. So, with the wishy-washies, you're going to need a Roman numeral. Okay? If it looks like the compound is canceled out, then whatever the negative is, that's going to be the positive. I'll show you an example of that. But if you see some numbers down at the bottom that are not part of the polyatomic ion, then you're going to have to reverse crisscross. And you probably don't understand, or maybe you have a clue what that is, but I'll go through that as well. All right, let's talk about the onions, the anions, the negative ions, what I like to call the girls. Okay? You have 2 kinds of girls. Number 1, a girl that you find at Walmart. These are the non-metals. Chlorine, oxygen, nitrogen, anything on the right side of the zigzag line. If you marry her, she has to change her last name to IDE. So if you find her on the front, on the periodic table, you have to change her name to IDE. All right? The second type of anion you're going to encounter, of course, are groups of these things together. This is what we learned yesterday. Those groups' names stay those names. So, with the exception of hydroxide, they all end in ATE. Leave them alone. They don't change their names like they did with the anions, with the Walmart anions. All right? So, typically, if I were you, I would kind of understand these rules, but I would need to see examples. I will do the first example, and then I need a volunteer from each quad. Here we go. Example number 1, AgCl. Okay, so what I do is I look up Ag on the periodic table, which of course should be out because that's what we always have out when we're doing chemistry. So you look up Ag on the periodic table and it's silver. The next thing I want you to notice is that silver has only one charge, +1. So for you to tell me silver Roman numeral 1, I would look at you and go, why are you telling me the Roman numeral? Of course it's 1. Silver is always 1. Don't give me information that I don't want. And believe it or not, in science, you can TMI. You can have too much information. It's considered bad to TMI. So for you to say silver 1 will be counted wrong, because silver is always 1. So, keep going. What is Cl? Notice Cl is just an element. There's not a grouping. So you look at Cl on the periodic table and it's chlorine. But if silver is going to marry chlorine, chlorine is going to have to accept a name change. So the answer becomes silver chloride. Any questions? Okay, that's an easy one. How about this one? Let's see. Gage. Look up Ba, find it. What's its name? Barium. How many charges does it have?
2.
No, charges. How many charges does it have? No, does it have 1 or 2 or 3? Is it multiple charges or is it only 1?
2. No, it's 1.
Okay, so there's 1 charge and its charge is, look on the periodic table, don't look up, +2. Okay, so barium is always +2. It is not wishy-washy. So, that's it. You keep going. No Roman numeral. SO4 looks like it's a group, so you would find groups in Costco. Kits go in Costco. So find SO4. It should be one of the 6 that I asked you to highlight. Sulfate. You don't change the package's name. You don't change anything in Costco. You keep their name the way it is. Barium sulfate. Done. Yes, Jonathan.
Why on the back of the periodic table sulfate is SO4 minus 2, but there's no minus 2?
Because you should never find any charges on a correctly written formula. We're going completely reverse from what we've been doing. This is what I've been asking you to do. Barium sulfate, you write down BaSO4. Now I'm saying, okay, let's start with BaSO4 and work backwards. Good, good. Any other questions? Brennan. This one's a whole lot harder. Here we go. Fe. Symbol, charge. Symbol, what are its charges? Periodic table.
2 and 3.
Aha. And here we have our first Luis. We have an iron that sometimes feels like it's 2, sometimes it feels like it's 3. So if you were to say, hey, Mr. Marino, this is iron chloride, I would look at you, marvelous, and say, which iron? I can give you an answer, but it's a 50-50 shot because I'm just guessing one of these possibilities. So if you look at your periodic table and it gives you choices, you're going to have to figure out which one it is. So for that, you're going to have to reverse crisscross. If it's FeCl3, that's the result of crisscross, then reverse it. What must be the charge on iron if it caused the chlorine to go to 3? All right, Brennan, finish it up. What is Cl? Chloride. Chloride. Yeah.
Do you put parentheses around the letter and then
You can if you want to. It's not going to bother me. I don't, but I've seen plenty of people do it. I've seen professors do it. I've seen it on paper, in labels. It's fine. Doesn't bother me. Any other questions? Okay. Here we go. Yasmin with a Y. See, I called on you yesterday. Fiona with an F. SN. What is SN?
10.
Not 9? Are you sure it's 10? I thought it was 9. Chemistry joke. That's a chemistry joke because 10 sounds like the number 10. Get it? 10, 10. All right. All right, so this is 10. Is 10 one of our Luises, one of our wishy-washies? Check. Does it have multiple charges in the little box?
Yeah.
Ah, so we're going to need a Roman numeral. So we're going to have to reverse crisscross. It can be either 2 or 4. Which one is it? 4. Now, this does look like it's a group, which means, well, most people would call it hydroxide, but that's fine. If you want to call it hydroxide, I can accept that. Hydroxide, yes, you just, whatever Costco says, that's the name. The Walmart anions are the ones you changed to IDE. All right, here we go. Let's see. I don't think I've called on you in a while. Eva. Iron, Fe, right? Iron. Is iron one of our problem children? So it's going to have to be... Will you stop giving me the right answer? There are people here going, I don't understand. Okay, can I talk it through with you before you give me the right answer? All right, so iron can be either +2 or +3. We don't know. We don't know it. So we're going to have to take the formula and reverse the crisscross. So which one is it? Are you sure? No? Not at all.
I think it might be 5.
Okay, so what is the Roman numeral for 3? Okay, for those of you who can't see, she's doing these little gestures with her hands, and it's like 3 times. She's making her hands go down 3 times. So I'm assuming that she means that that's 3 eyes. All right, and SO4 looks like a grouping to me, so what is it?
Sulfate?
Sulfate.
But I don't know if you put the numerals in it or not.
Let's see. No numerals there. No numerals there. No numerals there. No. The Roman numerals are only for cations, and only for cations are like Louise that we don't know.
What about the 2 right next to the FE? You know, like where
You see, with this, you don't need to put any more information, because look at this. Iron 3, iron 3. Sulfate is -2. Cross. Done. So you gave me enough information for me to correctly reproduce the actual question. And that's what we're doing. You're giving me enough information in order for somebody in the future to decipher it correctly. Okay, there's one more question that I want you to write down. One more. So create a 51 somewhere on your page. 51 is write the name for CUS, because this one's kind of tricky. This one's kind of tricky. All right? Gents, since you're already halfway through doing your homework anyway, let's do the tricky one. Okay, first of all, CU, look it up. What is that? Copper. And copper can be either +1 or +2, which means we're going to need a Roman numeral. Okay? S is sulfur, and you change it to ide. Sulfide, so far he's doing great. Now, you said correctly, mind you, that it's copper +2. How did you figure that out? Because you can't, this one you can't reverse crisscross. Because how can you reverse crisscross if it was never crisscrossed to begin with? Ah, very good. Very good, CJ. It was never crisscrossed to begin with. Look at this one. Does this one look like it was crisscrossed? Yeah. Does this one look like it was crisscrossed? Yeah. Does this one look like it was crisscrossed? No. Which means, since it wasn't crisscrossed, the charges must have been the same. So what is the charge on sulfur? -2. So if copper completely canceled that out, which copper would that have been? Okay. What do you think? Four out of 10, I would say. I mean, it's not easy, but it's not the hardest thing either. All right, so as with most of these things, we need a lot of practice. So first of all, I want you to do these 8. Now, this is like a typical quiz that honors chemistry would have, where they're all mixed together. First of all, the first 4, I'm giving you the names, so I want you to find the formula. In other words, what we've done last week and yesterday. Do that. You all can do that. The last 4, I have given you the formula. I want you to give me the name. All right, so once you finish those 8, I want you to come to call me, and I'll come and check them. Once you're done with that, then I have 3 things for you. Number 1, I have worksheet 4.7 for you to do, which is more practice. Number 2, I have a quizzes that I need you to do. And then number 3, I want you to practice the ion game, but just fill up just the front page. Just the front page. That's it, just the front page. Okay? Just fill up the front page. Don't do the back page.